Well, it's been a while. Um, just to catch family and friends up. Uh, this month, I ended up. I just kept getting worse and worse, and finally, uh, I got to where I couldn't breathe. And I went over for my Keytruda infusion, where they plugged me up. It's like a mild form of chemo. It's an immunotherapy drug. It's supposed to kill all the cells of cancer that might have got away. And they don't know, but they think possibly it turned around. Anyway, that garden I planted, it looked so good. I've not even been able to enter it except once, briefly, and now I can't go. I'm attached to this thing. I've got a back one that I can go if I need to go somewhere, but it hardly won't keep up with the oxygen that my body's needing. So I'm stuck with this one. Spent 6 days in the hospital. I got out Thursday. Uh, Doctor said, you know, they sent me home. I mean, they done surgery. They got a lot of mucus plugs and yeast out of my lungs, but they left a lot in there too. They couldn't get it out, and so I'm taking 40 milligrams of prednisone a day, some kind of antibiotic. It's unreal. Uh, Makes your fart stink, but I have to keep kind of monitor uh, what I'm what my blood ox is. Pulse ox. Got a pulse ox thing. Actually got two of them. Bought that one new, which has a power goal. This is attached. But heart rate runs way over 100 a lot of times. And all the time I don't exert myself. If I walk, that's an exerting. So anyway, didn't exactly get to make the garden. I mean, it happened. I just couldn't do nothing with it. And Denise, she's had her hands full working plus babysitting me. And so we ain't got much out of it. And unfortunately, the two people that I wanted to give a lot of it to, we can't, because I can't collect it. And she really, I mean, she's she's working like I worked all my life. And that may be why I'm in its good shape I'm in. But anyway, we're going to sell the cows, all but six. I'm going to keep six of them, 5 cows and a bull. I don't want to keep no fewer than that because of coyotes. And I'm going to sell the donkeys, all but 2. I'll keep 2 back here with the sheep. I may take 1 or 2 up there with the cows. And there's about 15 of them here. So we're going to do away with them. I'm going to keep the sheep. I don't know if I'll get to play anything next year or not. I'm 60 years old. I've always had cattle. I grew up on a farm. I may not have had them, but my grandparents, great grandparents, or aunt and uncles, they always had them. But I always had a garden. I even had my own garden when I was a teenager. So there's that. I think in time, maybe it'll heal. They told me I'd be down for 6 months to a year. So apparently there's 2 different pneumonias. and neither one of them are bacteria or viruses, or more of a chemical type thing. I forget what they call it, but there's that, and there's yeast, and of course regular damage to radiation done, and COPD. So it's just kind of a mess right now. So I, just take it day by day. Things will be all right. Mark sold his cows, my cousin. He went septic last year. And then about 4 or 5 months ago, he got up, and him and this girl lived together for 37 years, and he found her dead. It wasn't long after that till he went crippled completely again. This time they found 100% occlusion in his some kind of artery down there around his groin area. I know they cut him from the sternum to the groin, and then they cut each side of the groin, and then they cut each hip. So he's on the mend, but mentally, I think it's got him. He's losing part of his farm, having to sell his cows. He's just him up there. And out of about, there's what, 8, 9, 10, 11, counting me 11 that lived here, grew up here, that were kin. Me and him's it. The rest of them are dead. So, but on the bright side, I'm going to attempt to learn airbrushing. I have an ulterior motive for that. I got a couple of trucks, probably a couple of cars I'd like to put ghost flames on. I can put that little Volkswagen back together. I've got a new top for it. And biggest thing was it just needed a convertible top. But the paint sucked, so I disassembled it. I've got new fender webbing and everything. Runs like a top. Then I'll work on one of my Camaros or maybe one of the trucks. But anywho, we're still kicking, we're still breathing, we're still fighting. I'll show you some pictures of my garden when it first started. The computer that I was putting it on died. It crashed. Then first this one crashed. So I replaced it with the one downstairs. It crashed. So I took it loose. And that's the one that had all the pictures art laced on it. And when it crashed, I've got this one back running. And so I hooked it back up. So I've got this other one sitting here. And I've got repair disc for it. So I'm going to get it back running. And then I've got another one that I used to use all the time. And it's got a bunch of pictures. I'm going to do my best to get it back running. Power surge took it out, and that's probably what took these two out. Thank you, Appalachian Electric. But anyway, it ain't over the fat lady sings. So, like I told Mark, when he give up, I kind of chewed his butt out. At the time I wouldn't, I couldn't, it was all I could do just to go up there and sit for 10 minutes. I couldn't breathe. I still can't breathe. I haven't been up there since. But whether you want to believe it or whether you want to, I'm not going to harp on you, I'm not going to preach to you. But whether you want to believe it or not, God exists. He makes the decisions. It's up to him whether good things happen or bad things happen, I guess. Maybe it's up to maybe he bases it on what we do. But anyway, he's 4 cancers and 2 heart attacks, 2 Lyme disease. I've been bit by round and clue spiders either 5 or 7 times. I've lost count. And I've never walked it alone. I've never been alone. When I lay there in that bed, when I had throat cancer, my wife had to work because we didn't have money. I still wasn't alone. Wasn't nobody in the house, but I wasn't alone. That's what I was telling Mark. You don't have to be alone. It's as simple as a prayer. He made that before Wi-Fi. So anyway, I'll show you some pictures of the garden. There ain't many of them, but he's on his computer. That's when we first started. That was green beans RTN right before we harvested. That was Denise sowing the seeds. And that was some of the bell peppers and other peppers when they first were little. And now she said they're huge. Those are bell peppers there too. And over and amongst all that, those big, huge bamboo, that's the tomatoes. I never even got to start him this year. And then, of course, there's my other one, the Rural King. He's just sitting there. And my little Massey with the rotavator on the back. That's about all the beans that we got out of it right there. I mean, there ain't no more than that. And that is what the diagnosis was. So, minus the lung cancer. Lung cancer was just, I guess, showing I had a history of it. But that was what I ended up with. I've never heard of none of that. I just thought I had walking pneumonia. I did run a line of VTAC, and my sinus rhythm went down into the 30s. That's a shirt that my wife seen online, and she said, "You have to have that." So I got it.